All right, welcome back to the podcast, guys. It's January the 7th. It's Tuesday. I am Jorge Cruise. Welcome to the Jorge Cruise podcast. I'm thrilled you're here, guys. If you saw yesterday's podcast, welcome back. If you missed it, definitely check it out because I go into detail. And remember, we have audio versions as well on Spotify, Apple, or on YouTube. You go to jorgecruise.com to get all your links, all the locations we have it. But what I talked about yesterday on Monday was really a new challenge I'm launching, 19-day challenge with yours truly, for free starting next month, February the 3rd. And I would be honored and I would love to have you join me, especially if you want to lose belly fat first, or if you want to increase your energy, or if you're like me over 50, want to improve your longevity. This plan will also improve longevity and maximize lifespan, and really, a lot of people say we're not going to die someday. I don't know about that, but I can tell you my goal is to live to be 103. My grandmother, Maria, lived to be 103, and I was there with her. She was active to the last day, and I can tell you my passion, as you all know, has been wellness for over 23 years. I started in my early 20s. I got a break in 1998 with Oprah Winfrey. You guys know that. And my life has never been the same. And I've done 39 books, 13 on the New York Times. And I can tell you my 40th book is around the corner. It's also called Feel Great All Day. It'll be out at the end of this year, early next year. Don't want to give out dates on that. But if you're someone who, like me, has struggled with their health, whatever it is. For me, originally, I was overweight for many reasons. But whether it's weight, whether it's energy, whether you feel that you're going to make it to 60 and that's it, I can tell you, I'm the guy that has done enough and have worked with millions of people through my many books where I can almost guarantee you right now that if you're someone who feels like they've tried everything, I can tell you this, you haven't tried Feel Great All Day. It's a program I've been developing for the last 6 years, and I really don't joke about that because the last time I wrote a book was 6 years ago. And for me, I only write a book when there's something I want to learn. And for me, now that I'm 53, I'm going to be 54 in March of this year, I can tell you longevity is really important to me right now, right? Quality of life. For me, energy is vital. I have a son who's 18, who's a senior in high school. I got to keep up with him. I have a son who's in his 20s, and I have a lot of friends that are active. A lot of my friends are a little younger than me. Most of my friends that are my age can't keep up with me. So I just have energy. Now, I'm Southern American. My mother's side of the family is from South America, Colombia. So there's a lot of energy that comes from being a Latino and speaking Espanol, right, guys? But I can tell you, for me, that energy has started to shift. When I hit my mid-40s, my muscle tissue started to shift. Everything shifted. So if you're over 50, this is also the over 50 fat cure, in my opinion, and longevity cure and energy cure, this new program. And if you don't even know about it, listen to yesterday's podcast. I can promise you it'll give you the insights on what this is. But bottom line, if you haven't done so, go to feelgreatallday.com. Check it out. Fill out a form I have there. Let me know why you want to do the plan. I'm going to select 100 people to work with me starting February the 3rd, live on Zoom through a private link. We'll be working daily on this thing. And more importantly, I'll give you all the tools you need to make this happen, especially long term. And that's my goal for not just you, but my wish as I get older. And I know, we all have a certain timeline, and for me, I'm going to be an author hopefully until I die. I've written a whole bunch of books. I plan on writing a whole bunch of books. I want to keep up with my friend Martha Stewart, who's written over 100 books. I love it. She gives me something to shoot for. But I can tell you, it's not about writing books. It's more about sharing a message that I hope simplifies your life. And more importantly, I hope can give you not just results, but results that are sustainable. That's my goal for you. And Feel Great All Day is not just a plan that's going to give you what I call zero hunger water, the minerals, the recipe, the science behind it, how I developed it. During COVID with Dr. James DiNicolantonio, with Rob Wolf, learning about minerals like salt, magnesium, potassium, and understanding how in today's world we're deprived of that, But I'm also going to share with you 2 bonuses. And I thought on today's podcast, I'd share the first bonus outside of the mineral part of the plan. The first M is minerals. The second M is today, and that is mindset. And not that I'm a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not any of that. But I can tell you as a coach and working with people like Steve Harvey over my career, Brooke Burke in Malibu, and working with millions of people through my books, mindset is a big deal. Because you can know what to do. You can even have zero hunger water ready to drink. Not that it's available. You can make it at home for pennies, but you still don't use it. Why? Why is it that sometimes we know what to do, right? But we don't do it. We know better. And a lot of people know that in January, we all make New Year's resolutions, right? We're like, yeah, I got this. And then usually the statistics show, even Apple did, and I love Apple. Where's my Apple Watch? Here's my Apple Watch. I love Apple. But I can tell you that even Apple did a recent Apple Watch commercial saying that there is a National Quitters Day on January the 10th. Most of us give up. We don't have that accountability, the discipline, the motivation, as Tony Robbins would say, to do things. And I can tell you, for me, mindset has helped me take my life where 3 years ago I didn't want to be around. I had been through a second divorce, which was really heartbreaking on me. It wasn't intentional. Good person. We're two good people, just not meant to be together long term, and it broke my heart because I wasn't prepared for it, And when some of us get into depression, and I'm the king of depression sometimes, I got really sad, And I never was a guy that ever cried his whole life because that wasn't cool growing up a Latino and, and all that. My mother raised me to not cry, but I finally learned to cry. And I cried me a river, And then as my kids were getting older, some of them go off to college and you don't see them. You have an empty nest. How many people can relate to that, right? And that was tough. And then other things happened. Just a lot of things happened. My dad passed away. How many of us lost a parent? I lost my mom many years ago, but then my dad passed away. And so it was just a lot of sadness. And so what I've discovered working with a really incredible man, I posted about J.J. Martinez on my Instagram. You can check him out there. But what I learned from this man and from many people that he introduced me to was that my ego was not my amigo. And he taught me that ego, whether you're religious or spiritual, stands for edging God out. And for me, what God means is just faith. Whether God for you, whether you're Christian, Catholic, I was raised Catholic, whether you're Buddhist, whatever your faith is, that higher power, whatever that is, it doesn't matter. Just so long you understand that we don't control the whole show, And I learned what I want to teach you today is something that has transformed my life. And I use it every single morning. When I wake up, I say, thank you, God, for another day, right? And I learned how to meditate or pray in a way that I could ask God for what I wanted. But the only way I saw things happen in my life was when I stopped learning or stopped asking and praying or meditating for selfish things, for just me. And what I had to learn is that God will help, but whoever your God is, right? The universe has got your back. God has got your back, but you got to learn to pray in a way that is there to help others, to be of maximum service to others. And I had no idea what that was. Now, unintentionally, I wrote a book, and my book years ago did well, millions of copies, and so many books now, I've helped millions of people. So I was rewarded very well, and I appreciate that, because I never did it for the money, but it was nice, right? But then after certain divorces and expenses, that money can disappear, right, guys? And so I can tell you that what I had to learn was 3 years ago, and this was hard, 4 now almost, I had to learn how I couldn't be so self-centered. And I didn't even want to say it was a narcissist. You've heard that word, right, guys? Not my favorite word to hear, especially back in the day. I was like, no, I am not a narcissist. Because I know these are negative, naughty people that are just all about me. And I was taught by my mom, I was raised Catholic, to be a good person, right? And that's not me. But I found out it was me. And I didn't even realize it. So now I have a prayer that I want to share with you that is simple. It's called the Serenity Prayer. You can Google it. It's been out there. It's God. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, right, guys? And the wisdom to know the difference. Now, wisdom, took me years to finally get that down, because I would argue with people what I could control and I couldn't control. 4 or 5 years ago, I thought I could control the publishing world. And I thought, I've written so many books, I'm going to just continue to make that my livelihood. And it turns out YouTube, this or whatever you're listening to me on, is definitely better than books. Now, I'm not saying I don't love books, but I've fed my family that way for many years. And then when that kind of income is no longer something that people utilize in the sense of books. I mean, bookstores went away. Do you remember Barnes & Noble, Borders, Amazon Books? Even that one went away. Some Barnes & Nobles out there, but books became kind of a thing people didn't want. They just wanted a YouTube video. So thank God I like to talk. So that wasn't a big deal. But I like books too. Now I'm still going to do a book. I'm going to do one that'll be out early next year, end of this year, called Feel Great All Day, based on this challenge I'm doing. And I can tell you, for me, my ego had a shift where I had to realize I can't control publishing or the Kindle or YouTube, and I can't make those things go away and make people go back to books. That's not smart. But boy, did it take a minute for me to embrace that and to actually think that was like that was okay to accept, because I wanted to change publishing. And I thought at least I could do a book and it would do well. Well, when no one's buying books and the bookstores are shutting down, it's not easy to sell a book without a bookstore and without people wanting it. It's a lot easier to watch a YouTube video than it is to read a book. And I had to adapt, and so I learned to adapt, but boy, I fought it. The Serenity Prayer was a key, though, to overcoming that. And then I learned when I do pray, I'll give you an example. When I pray to God, and we'll do a prayer here before the show ends, what I use every morning is to help me get to what I want in my life, which is to be of service to people. It's always been that, right? But being now of maximum service, now I can ask for some specifics, like if I'm going to do a book or this podcast or Zero Hunger Water, which is still on my to-do list to do, right, guys? I want to do it to help others. I don't want to do it for me, even though I would love to have it for myself. And sure, I'll read my own books. That's kind of weird, right? But and I'm not going to watch my own YouTube videos. I try not to watch these. But I can tell you the message for me is why I always wrote books and why I'm doing this here right now. And for me, the aha moment was like what I shared yesterday, that hunger control is everything. It's not weight loss anymore at all. And so what my new program is about, and what I want to share with you, is if you join us on this 19-day challenge starting on February the 3rd, you simply go to feelgreatallday.com or go to jorgecruise.com. There's a link there as well. And you can join this challenge. You can sign up. I'm only taking 100 people. And whether you do well or not doesn't matter. Whether you have 10, 20 pounds to lose or 100 plus pounds to lose doesn't matter. And whether you just want energy, maybe you don't want weight loss, or you just want to increase your lifespan, or you're in your 70s or 80s and you just lost that edge, we're going to cover minerals and how 3 essential minerals will not just double your energy and your lifespan, will help you lose belly fat first by turning off cravings and false hunger. And really, it's just a water add-in. It's just 3 minerals with a little bit of stevia. Pardon me, I was going to burp. Hopefully I won't burp right now. But it has stevia, potassium, and magnesium. I'll have to learn to enunciate there. And then whether you add lemon or a touch of orange juice, and I can teach you how to do that without adding juices. We don't want a lot of that because it's sweet. But stevia is my favorite, and I love using a company's brand that I've used for years from Sweet Leaf. You guys know who they are. They're great friends. Love their products. And regardless, you can make this for pennies. But you won't do it unless the mindset is that you can do it and that you will do it and that you are capable. So my whole purpose of today's podcast is to remind you the truth, that you are capable of doing this. And you'll have me as a coach starting on February the 3rd. So if that sounds like something you may need, you're like, okay. Go to feelgreatallday.com, sign up, guys. I'm going to look at these today. I'm looking at them every day. It's going to be up for the entire month of January. Sign up. I'm going to decide on the 100 people at the end of the month. So we got time. And I'm going to pick the best 100 people that have truly, I think, a genuine reason to want to do this, and it's free, and that really want to transform their health. And more importantly, would like to share their success. I hope they will be successful, because you can lose more than 19 pounds on this program during that time period. But share their success story with others. If you're someone who doesn't like to share and doesn't want to be someone who may be an inspiration to others, this may not be the best thing, because you know me, everything I do, I share with others. So, but most of my clients have, from Steve Harvey to you name it, Brooke Burke, have never mind doing that. And so whether you're someone that's well-known or someone very private, believe me, this is something, without saying your name, that we can hopefully inspire millions, because I believe we're on this revolution right now that's no longer about losing weight. All these things we did for years, like counting points, Weight Watchers, all the things that were traditional, Jenny Craig, all the Richard Simmons programs, and about dancing the weight off and all that. It's all about hunger control right now. And as much as GLP-1 drugs are critically powerful for some people with higher set weight points, I should say. And we're going to talk about that. We're actually going to talk about medicines on tomorrow's podcast, not just food and exercise and sleep, but also hormone replacement and GLP-1s. But I can tell you, this program is comprehensive because it brings in the mindset that we're talking about right now, which I have a lot of incredible content to help you really allow yourself to self-regulate that fear that's in all of us. And it's that fear that we want to numb, right? So when our ego's like, no, this should be my way, the highways, no, this is my way. And you don't get your way, you're like, and then when you get that way, what happens? You feel bad, you feel sad, you feel angry. And that's when you self-medicate, whether it's with sugar, food, soda, crackers, alcohol. I mean, the list goes on, right, guys? And that's what we want to stop with a mindset system that is included as a huge key component bonus to feel great all day, which is beyond what I call zero hunger water. So if that sounds good, guys, go to the show notes. You'll get all the information to join the challenge. You can get the recipe for zero hunger water as well. And the Serenity Prayer, Google it, guys. It's everywhere. I'll be back tomorrow with a little bit more. We're going to talk about medicine tomorrow. Thank you so much for sharing today's podcast and inviting at least 3 friends right now to join us on this challenge. I would love that. All right, guys. Peace and purpose. I'll talk to you tomorrow.